What's up, everybody? We are live. We got a good card this Saturday on free TV. We got UFC San Antonio. We got RDA versus Leon Edwards. We got Greg Hardy fighting Juan Adams. We got a lot of good fights, man. It's definitely a good card. And joining me is my co-host, as always, Kelton. What's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm really stoked about this San Antonio card. Like, there is so many good matchups. Like, even in the fights where these guys aren't all that great, maybe the ceiling isn't that high. Like, I feel like these matchups were just so well put together by Sean Shelby and the crew. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just excited. We got a lot of closely lined fights this card, which really hasn't been the case, and it feels like the last couple cards. So it's a competitive one, man. I'm looking forward to talking about it.
There's a lot of live dogs in this card, bro. Like
Yeah.
a lot. It's a great card. I can't wait for next week. I mean, we got a good run right now. So, if there's anything you want to talk about before we go in?
Yeah, man. I'm really loving Contender Series this year. I think this past card might have been one of the best. Obviously, the week prior he gave out 5 contracts. This week he gave out 4, but man, I really like this week. The first fight was Brendan Allen. He was like a minus 650 favorite. Got a little sketchy there at first. Aaron Jeffrey wasn't exactly looking like a plus 400 underdog, and then Brendan Allen just hits that really nasty knee, puts him down, takes it back, chokes him out. Picture perfect stuff. Allen has so much experience for 23 years old. Like the track record he has a first round finish on Contender Series. He has a 25-minute war with Eric Anders. He's been in there with Fluffy Hernandez, Trevin Giles, like all this shit, and he's only 23 years old. Trains out of a great camp. I think Brendan Allen, give him the slow roll in the UFC, but I think he can honestly be something in kind of a weak division in 185, and then. Kevin Siler versus Lance Lawrence was like the best fight of the night. That was absolutely insane. Lance Lawrence is the toughest man alive, but you can't miss weight, and that's exactly why Siler didn't get the contract. Don'Tale Mayes got a first-round knockout. That guy he fought just was way too one-dimensional. He was given a gift there, and I don't know how he's going to survive in the UFC. Like, obviously, he's one of the faster guys and has really good footwork, has big power, but I don't know, man. I feel like that upper echelon, like the top 15, kind of probably goes out there and smokes them. So we'll see, though. And then the co-main event was O'Day Osborne and Villarreal. That was another really good fight. I had a hard time picking. I actually picked the underdog. I almost bet him, but he was looking really good on the feet, and then he got reversed on the mat. And then, I mean, he does what he's pretty much known for. If you watch tape on this guy, you could see his best tools are probably off his back. He is one of the best defensive guards, I mean, arguably in the UFC division at this point, man. This guy has really, really good jiu-jitsu. So he got a first-round armbar off his back. And then the main event, Antonio Arroyo, who maybe is one of the biggest middleweights I've ever seen in my life. He pretty much destroyed that guy. That guy pretty much had no business in the octagon with him. It was a pretty good performance. We'll see what happens with him. But, yeah, I love that card, man. So let's get on to San Antonio now.
Yeah, I got to catch up on some Contender Series for sure. I've been really busy. I bet, want to get a shot on Jeffrey. Kind of, it was a bad bet, but I'm 0-2 this year on Contender Series on bets. Him and Ocho, 2 dogs. So I'm probably going to stay away from Contender Series bets. But, yeah, the last UFC card was a great card. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, okay. It was Lad.
It was Lad and GDR. You had a really good night.
Yeah, I think I went 3-1. Aspen Lad was kind of hurt because I would have went undefeated, but it is what it is, man. She's gonna be back. I feel like people are sleeping on her and they think that she's gonna like suck and all this stuff now, but she got caught against a good fighter, and I mean, it is what it is. I still think Aspen Lad has a bright future, and I'm excited. Hopefully, they match her up with like Holly Holm. That would be a great fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything you want to talk about that card? Or do you want to go right in?
I'm down to get right in, man.
Let's do it, man. So first fight of the night, we got the return of Domingo Pilarte versus Felipe Colares, and I'll go with this one first. Yeah, man, this is a good fight for the first fight of the night. We got Pilarte making his return. He's huge for the division. I really like his movement. He fights really long, fights with his hands down. I think Michael Bisping said he's like a 135-pound Luke Rockhold. I'm gonna completely disagree with that because this guy actually has a chin, unlike someone like Luke Rockhold. But yeah, Pilarte, I like his striking, man. He's technical on the feet. He was looking good against Spence Morales in the first round. Then he got dropped, but showed a lot of heart, man. He got him down on the mat in the second round and tapped him out. This guy's ground game is really good. I'm not impressed with Colares at all. I don't think he looked that good at all versus De Freitas, and the guy is really like hittable on the feet. I mean, I know Pilarte like gets hit too, but I mean, this Colares guy is slow on the feet. He's a brawler, but his defense is not good at all. He gets taken down really easy. I think Pilarte can easily take this fight to the mat and tap him out. He definitely has the better ground game, but honestly, on the feet, I got to give the edge to Pilarte too. Like, I mean, I know Pilarte got hurt, but the dude showed a lot of heart, man. And I think Pilarte's better wherever the fight goes. The line, a little steep, but I like Pilarte here, man. The guy, he's 8-1, and he has a lot of potential, man. He's one of the biggest bantamweights. I mean, he has good technical striking, good left hand. His ground game's really good, man. I mean, good chin. I like his jiu-jitsu a lot. He's a total package, man. So I'm going to go with Pilarte with a finish here, man. I don't think Colares is UFC material, and I think Pilarte is going to hurt him on the feet, get him to the mat, and get a first-round submission.
Yeah, man, this is an awesome fight, man. Domingo Pilarte, biggest favorite of the card, and I'd probably agree with you in saying that it's probably rightfully so, man. I mean, it's funny. Felipe Colares, his last fight was at 145. Most of his career was at 145. I want to say he only fought at bantamweight maybe once or twice, but that was at least like 4 or 5 years ago. You could tell he had problems with the size of De Freitas in that fight. De Freitas kind of, I mean, he beat him everywhere, if we're being honest. He landed more takedowns. He outstruck him over probably about 3-1 in that fight. I mean, he was really beaten everywhere. And he steps down in a weight class, and it turns out he's fighting an even bigger guy this time. I mean, it's not very often we see a 6-foot-tall bantamweight with a 74-inch reach. I mean, this guy is massive. I have no idea how he makes 135 pounds. But yeah, he hasn't fought since the Contender Series fight against Vince Morales, which a lot of people will say that's the best Contender Series fight of all time, and I definitely agree. It was an amazing fight. So what happened there? I mean, yeah, you're right. Pilarte, he does have a great chin, but the thing is, Vince Morales is actually a really good fighter, man. Like, when Vince Morales can get his hands going and he's actually being aggressive, throwing combos, I mean, this guy has underrated power. He has underrated boxing. Like, me personally, I thought he should have got the nod against Benito Lopez in that fight. I thought he clearly won rounds 1 and 3, but that's a different topic for a different day. Either way, I think Vince Morales, even though he's 1 and 2 in the UFC, I definitely think he is a UFC caliber fighter. There's a reason. Even though losing in the Contender Series, he did get that call. He's there for a reason, man. So, I mean, Pilarte, in my opinion, is a lot more proven than Colares, and he's probably better everywhere. So I like Domingo Pilarte here, man. I think it's going to be tough for Colares to get anything going. But, hey, moving down at 135 pounds where he is, in fact, undefeated, maybe that's just what he needed, man. Who knows? So I'm going to go with Domingo Pilarte here. I'm not going to be paying the minus 335, but I'm going to say he ends up getting a second-round submission. So moving on to the next fight, we got. Ooh, I'm so excited for this one. We got Jinsu Sun minus 210. He's taking on Mario Bautista plus 175. Man, so it's crazy. Both these guys made their debut against like top 15, easily top 10 guys. These guys came in with a very tall task in front of them. Obviously, Bautista, he took on Sandhagen. He got armbarred in the first round. And then Jinsu Sun, he had a really, really fun fight with Peter Yan. Like, dude, this guy, Jinsu Sun, he probably had a more competitive, more fun fight with Peter Yan than most guys were able to put up. Jinsu Sun, and another thing, both these guys come out of really good camps as well, man. You got Jinsu Sun, he trains over in Korea with Korean Zombie. He's his prodigy. And then Mario Bautista, he's out there in the MMA lab where, I mean, these younger guys coming up from the MMA lab, like, there's definitely some momentum with the younger fighters in that gym. You got an undefeated guy named James Nakashima, who probably will end up in the UFC one day. You got Sean O'Malley. Drakkar Klose is on a nice win streak. Hunter Azure, who we saw in the Contender Series a couple weeks ago, he's now in the UFC. The younger generation of the MMA lab is actually really making waves, man. So I don't think this Mario Bautista kid should be underestimated at all. I see this minus 210 on Jinsu Sun, and it actually even opened wider than that, man. He opened a minus 265 favorite, and money has come in on Bautista, but I'm not going to be surprised at all to see even more money coming on Mario Bautista. I actually think this line should be a lot closer than where it is now, but when I think about it and I have to make a pick, gun to my head, I probably am going to go with Jin Soo Sun just because I have seen more out of him. I think I just think he's slightly more polished on the feet. We could see the guy could take a freaking shot from a top 10 guy. So I don't know if Bautista's going to be able to really show him something on the feet he hasn't seen before. I definitely favor Jin Soo Sun there. And then, on the mat, Bautista has some sub wins. I think Jin Soo Sun, he's got some sub wins himself. Both these guys, I would say it's probably about even on the mat. Just a matter of it's funny. Also, each of these guys landed one takedown. Jin Soo Sun was able to take down Peter Yan once, and then Mario Bautista was actually able to take down Corey Sandhagen once. Neither guy was able to do anything with it, but hey, it just shows that these guys are well-rounded. I think they both have good futures, but I'm going to go with Jin Soo Sun. I'm going to say he wins a 29-28 unanimous decision. I think he's just going to be landing more, and the shots he lands are probably going to have more effect, do more damage. So Jin Soo Sun, 29-28 decision.
It's a pretty good fight. I believe the MMA lab kind of like split up though, because I think the striking coach there, Eddie Chaw, now trains at Fight Ready, which is the one that Cejudo trains at. Mm-hmm. And I think some of the guys went over there with them, like Close, I think went, and then Moffitt. But what's funny about this one is that Korean Zombie trains with Eddie Chaw too, and I think Eddie Chaw was in his corner for his last fight, and now Bautista just trains at MMA lab. So there's a little familiar there. I feel like, but familiarity, but. Yeah, man, about the matchup, though, Bautista, he's pretty green. But, he looked decent against Sandhagen. I know it was like a 3 or 4 minute fight. But, he looked his striking, it's not bad, man. He's a big bantamweight. He fights really long. But, obviously, right when Sandhagen hit that flying knee, when it hit the mat, Sandhagen just a really good fighter. Definitely, a future champ, in my opinion. But, yeah, I think this Jin Soo Sun guy, a lot of people were sleeping on him because, Peter Yan was like a minus 1,000 favorite going to that fight. I actually just rewatched it today. That was a close fight. That was a 29-28. Jin Soo Sun has a great jab. He has a great right hand. He has a really good pressure. He's going to be pressuring, just like Sandhagen. He's going to be backing up Bautista probably the whole fight. He doesn't go away. The guy just, you can hit him with the kitchen sink. He has a great chin. He has good wrestling, too. He took down Peter Yan a couple times. He even controlled him for like 2 minutes, and I think it was the second round, because he won the second round. So I think he can actually wrestle Bautista if he wants to. But on the feet, I think just the pressure, man. Bautista has pretty good striking, good volume, but I just think he's gonna get pieced up on the feet. I think if it hits the mat, Jin Soo Sun has the advantage. The line, it's a little crazy because we haven't seen Jin Soo Sun in a while, but. It's about all 2 prospects. I just think one of the prospects has more experience. And Bautista's a little green. I want to see him, fight like Cole Smith, something like that. So maybe next. We'll see what happens. But I got Jin Soo Sun with I'm going to go with a dominant decision or maybe a late TKO. So next fight we got Ray Borg versus Gabriel Silva. And I'm going to let you go first because I believe you have a play.
I do have a play, man. I got 2 units on the underdog here. Gabriel Silva was sitting at I want to say it was as high as plus 240, something like that. I got 2 units at plus 215. Now he's sitting at plus 185. I think that's only going to just keep dropping and dropping. It's going to get closer and closer as the fight approaches. And really the reason for that, man. Ray Borg, obviously, his whole career, he's known as a flyweight. Even if you look at his biggest win, it's against Jussier Formiga, which, hey, you see a guy's record and he has a win against Jussier Formiga, a top 5 flyweight. That looks good and all, but it's a little bit different of a case here now at minus 135, especially when you're fighting a guy like Gabriel Silva, who fought his whole career at 145 pounds. Gabriel Silva has been going out there and beating 5'10" featherweights and doing the damn thing, man. This guy's really impressive. He's the brother of Eric Silva. Obviously on the Borg side, he got his feet back in the water. He fought Casey Kenny a few months ago. He was a huge favorite there as well and fell up just short. Now, a lot of people would argue that Ray Borg won that fight. Personally, I actually had a 29-28 Casey Kenny. It was very, very close. I don't know if I would have screamed robbery if Borg won, but it was close, man. But this one, it could be close for sure. Ray Borg is a talented guy. He has really good wrestling, really good grappling. But man, I think Gabriel Silva is going to absolutely be able to match him in those areas of the game. I think, I mean, he's a really high-level BJJ guy as well. If he gets taken down, I know he's going to be doing the right things to get back up and or reverse position. And then on the feet, dude, I just feel like Gabriel is going to be dictating where that fight goes on the feet. He has way more pop in his punches. I mean, he's the better boxer. Let's just be honest with us here right now. Like, he is the better boxer. He has more power. He puts combos together better, and he has really good takedown defense. So I think Gabriel Silva is going to keep this fight on the feet, and I think he's going to pick apart Ray Borg for 3 rounds. If not, possibly TKO him late. This guy definitely has power in his hands. I'm going to go out and say right now, this might be a hot take. This guy, Gabriel Silva, is going to have a better UFC career than his brother, Eric Silva. He is very good, man. But obviously the one thing to worry about on the Gabriel Silva side, reason like I have 2 units on it and maybe not a little bit more. This is his first cut to 135 pounds, man. Like I said, he's been fighting at 145 his whole career. Who knows how that's going to go? You know, he's a 5'4" guy. It probably should be no problem, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a UFC debut, guy dropping down a weight class. There's a couple red flags out there, but I mean, at that price, I'm willing to take the shot all day long. So I'm going to say Gabriel Silva goes out and actually wins a 30-27 unanimous decision win.
Yeah, man, I agree. I got Gabriel Silva here for the upset. I do think he's going to win. I'm not going to bet it personally, but yeah, I do think he's going to win. You know, he's definitely the better striker. This is a pure striker versus grappler matchup. I thought Borg didn't look that good last fight at all, man. I mean, Casey Kenny clearly won that fight. Let's be honest, though. Casey Kenny's a better fighter than Silva. I think Casey Kenny's going to beat Manny Bermudez. I mean, Casey Kenny, give me some dog money against Manny Bermudez. Casey Kenny's legit. That guy's undefeated. That guy did not lose on Contender Series. That was a pure robbery against Adam Antolin. But anyways, back on the matchup. Yeah, man, you know, Ray Borg just has too much personal shit, man, going outside his life. I know his kid's good now. You know, I'm happy for him and all that. But the guy just has not looked good his last 2 fights, man, at all. He's definitely on the decline. I know he's only 25 years old, but, I mean, you saw his physique last fight. It wasn't that good. I mean, his striking just, you know, not the best. The guy's getting taken down. The guy just – he didn't look good, man, against Kenny at all. And I know Silva's not a wrestler, but on the feet, like you mentioned, Silva has way more power. He's more technical. I can definitely see Silva hurting him. Can I see Borg taking the fight to the ground? Yeah, I mean, Borg is a really good grappling, man, but I just don't think he's going to be able to control him, man. I mean, I think he takes him down, but I think Silva gets right back up. Can Silva take Borg down? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Silva just going to keep it on the feet. The weight cut worries me for sure because, you know, how's cardio going to be? Because, I mean, you know that Borg's going to be trying to take him down the whole fight. And Borg has pretty good cardio. That's one thing about him. But I just don't like the personal stuff with him. And, you know, he's definitely been, you know, regressing, man. So I'm going to go with Gabriel Silva. I think he gets the upset. I think he wins a close 29-28 decision. But, yeah, and if he beats Borg, I think Borg's probably going to be – I mean, what? They're going to give him one more fight? He might be done, honestly. So we'll see what happens. So next fight, we got oh, my God, we got Roxane Modafferi versus Jennifer Maia. Yeah, man, I'll be honest, man. I did not look into this fight that much. I mean, you know, it's Roxane Modafferi. You know, she's you know what we're going to get from her, man. She has a good ground game. Her striking is not that good at all. I mean, she has a good chin. She's going to move forward. You know, Jennifer Maia, you know, she has, you know, a good ground game. I definitely think she's the better striker. She's way more technical on the feet. She has a good chin. Can Roxy take her to the mat? Probably. But, I mean, can Maia take Roxy to the mat? Yeah. I mean, I think Roxy's takedown defense isn't the best because she accepts bottom, you know. But, I mean, she's a beast on the mat, though. I mean, she could definitely reverse, you know. But Maia's a pretty good black belt. Maia has a good ground game. I know she had a close fight with Alexis Davis, but yeah, man, I think Jennifer Maia should win this fight, but I'm not going to play her, you know, at the current line. So I'll go with Jennifer Maia. I think she's going to get not the upset, she's a favorite. I think she's going to win a close decision, but is Roxy live? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, the line's pretty close. I mean, a lot of people count out Roxy, man, but I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Maia, but I don't have much to say. What about you?
Well, it's definitely getting wider and wider. This whole day, money's been coming in on Jennifer Maia. I want to say she was like minus 125 yesterday. Now she's minus 145. You can get plus 125 on Roxane Modafferi. Man, I don't know. I guess that seems probably just about where it should be. I only watched a couple fights and research for this fight. One of them being the first meeting between these two. They actually fought before in Invicta. It was a 5-round fight for the title. Jennifer Maia walked away with the split decision win. Now, it's crazy, man. You go and look at these fighters' records and you see split decision, and either most of the time when you see that, you're like, oh, it was a close fight. They went to a close fight with fighter B, and then you go with that. You got to watch the fight, man, because when I watched that fight between Jennifer Maia and Roxane Modafferi, I'm not really sure what that judge who scored the fight for Roxane Modafferi was smoking. I had that fight clearly for Jennifer Maia, and a wise man once said, when a younger fighter goes out and beats an older fighter and they rematch, the younger fighter will win even more convincingly the second time. And who knows, that could be the case here. Obviously, every fight is a little bit different of a situation. But I'm going to say Jennifer Maia does pick up the victory here, man. I think it'd be wise for her to stay away from the mat where Roxane Modafferi's clear biggest strength is. And that's not to say Modafferi is complete shit on the feet. I mean, maybe back when she was very first on the Ultimate Fighter, fighting in like Japan back in the day, or striking was shit. But ever since she moved out to Las Vegas with that crew over there, like it's gotten a lot better. I'm not going to say it's on the level of Maia's, because I think Maia probably will solidly outbox her here, but it's not bad. Like, I don't know about all the people that make Roxane Modafferi out to be a joke. And I mean, obviously it's funny to make fun of her personality. She's this nerdy, unassuming girl, and I guess it's easy for her to be the butt of a joke. But when it comes to her fighting abilities, she is very much up there, man. I mean, to go out there and beat a highly touted prospect in Shevchenko in Russia, man, I mean, that was really impressive to me. It's just, in my opinion, this is a step up in competition. I think Antonina, she is, she's good, man. She's a good striker, but I mean, there's obviously a lot to be worked on, and Roxane was just experienced enough to go out there and expose the holes. And I mean, obviously there is holes in Maia's game, but I just don't know if there's just too much of a difference here. I don't know. I just see Maia probably winning this fight. She's going to just be a step ahead everywhere. She's younger. She's probably stronger. So I'll go with Maia, 29-28 decision. Don't really want to talk about that one too much. But moving on to the next one, man. We got is it the Clidson Abreu Sam Alvey fight? Yes, it is. So we got Clidson Abreu. Some money has been coming in on Clidson. He's now minus 175. Sam Alvey plus 155. It was minus 160 yesterday. So finally the money is starting to come in on Clidson Abreu as I expected. I just feel like from pretty much every perspective, from a casual perspective, from like our perspective, from really, really high roller sharp perspectives, Sam Alvey is a full-on fade at this point, man. I mean, not only was this guy in his prime just not throwing the trigger at all, just so slow, one of the easiest guys to game plan for. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about prime Sam Alvey. And at this point, I don't think we're talking about prime Sam Alvey anymore. I think the chin's starting to deteriorate, and he's just slowing down a little bit. You listen to interviews for this upcoming fight week, and it seems like he's very focused on outside of the cage things. He's really, really starting to plan for his life after fighting. And when guys really, really starting to plan for their life after fighting, I mean, that's when things go south, man. And then you got this guy Clidson Abreu, who is on the exact opposite perspective. He just made his debut, I want to say it was earlier this year, against a really, really tough out in Magomed Ankalaev. He was like a plus 250 or plus 300 in that spot. And yeah, in my opinion, he got beat up pretty bad. I don't think he won a single round, but I mean, he definitely showed that he belongs for sure. I mean, can you imagine what Ankalaev would have done to Sam Alvey in that spot? I mean, that would just be a murder. The thing about this one, though, like, obviously you look at all those factors, like Sam Alvey on the decline, Clidson's on the up. You take away all those factors when you look at this fight stylistically, though, I actually think it's kind of a tough one for Clidson Abreu. I think on the feet, like, Sam Alvey obviously has the volume problem, but he's very dangerous. Power is the last thing to go in a fighter. Obviously, we always talk about the power of Sam Alvey, but I would say his second best attribute behind his power is his takedown defense. So I actually don't think Clint Abreu is going to be able to make this fight work exactly where he wants it. I don't know if he's going to be able to take down Sam Alvey. So automatically it's going to be where Sam Alvey wants this fight to be, and that's standing. But unfortunately, I think just Sam is just far too gone. I think Clidson, even though striking isn't his strength, I've seen enough from him. I've seen enough improvements from him. I believe he's actually training out at ATT now, if I'm not wrong. So, I mean, you just got to expect these improvements for this younger guy on the feet. So, I mean, I think he's going to be able to go out there and do what people normally do to Sam Alvey. Kick this guy's legs, try to take out the power, and jab him up. Stay away from that big power, man. Because Sam Alvey can knock out a lot of people, man. So. I'm going to go with Clidson. It's just I definitely feel a little gross about it paying at -175, so I'm going to pass. But it should be interesting, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I like Sam Alvey. I got respect for him. I used to be a big fan. I'm still a fan of him. I mean, he was, a good fighter on top. He definitely came a long way. But I mean, two big things. One, he has no business to fight at 205. He's way too small for that weight class. And number two, like you mentioned, his chin. I mean, yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about the stoppages his last two fights, but I mean, I don't think they're bad stoppages at all. I mean, Crew would have hurt him even more if that fight didn't get stopped. And then you're going out there and getting knocked out against a really old guy and Little Nog who just retired. It's not a good look, man. I mean, he looked like crap his last two fights. He's barely beating guys like John Vellante, man. I mean, Alex Mickelson. I think he's arguably the worst guy at 205 right now. If he's not, he's in the bottom three with John Vellante. And that fight could have gone either way, man. That was a really close fight. I mean, Pat Cummins, those three guys are at the bottom right now in the division. And yeah, Abreu lost a fight against a really good prospect, man. I know he lost against Paul Craig, but let's be honest, that was kind of a fluke. If they fight again, if they fight 9 out of 10 times, I mean, Ankalaev destroys Paul Craig. Abreu, obviously he has a great ground game. I mean, his striking is not his bread and butter, but I mean, I feel like even in this matchup, Sam Alvey's so declining. He has no volume. All he has is the left hand. He has good takedown defense, but I think Abreu is actually the better striking man. I mean, I think Abreu could definitely hurt him, man. I mean, doesn't take much to hurt that chin anymore. He used to have one of the best chins, man, in the UFC. Now he has one of the worst chins, dude. His chin is like you mentioned, deteriorating. Been KO'd 3 times. Abreu has a good left hand. I think actually Abreu could get him down to the mat. I know Alvey has good takedown defense, but he's kind of a dummy, man. And I mean, I don't think Abreu's going to pull guard or anything, but I mean, I think Abreu could actually get him down. But I think what happens here, man, is I know it's really tough to submit him. I think he's only been subbed once against GM3, but I think Abreu's going to hurt him on the feet. I think he's going to drop him. I think he's going to get him out of there and tap him out. So I got Clidson Abreu. I'm going to go the first round finish. I just don't think Sam Alvey has it anymore. I think he should just stop. And if he wins this fight, I don't know. I mean, if he does, I mean, please, I'm going to fade him again. I'm not fading him here just because of the line, but he's just done, man. Sam Alvey just does not have it anymore, man. He really doesn't. So I got Clidson Abreu to finish. Next fight, we got another fight. I'm going to let you go first because you have another play. We got Rocky Raquel Pennington versus Irene Aldana. And before you go first, I got some strong words to say about Rocky Pennington. Yeah, I'll save it till after you go. You go first.
Sure, man. So yeah, we got Irene Aldana -130 taking on Raquel Pennington +110. This was one of the first fights on the card that jumped out to me. I mean, I looked at this weeks ago, man. I placed a bet weeks ago. I took Irene Aldana here at -105 for 3 units, man. Just the way I look at this fight. So you got one fighter, Irene Aldana, who clearly, I mean, she came into the UFC. She took that loss against Leslie Smith as a huge favorite, and that was obviously a huge red flag. But man, I think it's very, very safe to say at this point that she has absolutely grown way past that performance. She's come out with 3 really good ones since then. The Bethe Correia fight, dude, I mean, I can't believe it. I hear it on a lot of podcasts, people thinking Bethe Correia was winning that fight 2-0, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You can make an argument it was 1-1, but dude, to say Betch was up 2-0, that's some shit, dude. Like, that's crazy. I think I ran, and Betch is a tough girl to fight, bro. Like, Betch is kind of just like, because she's not technical, you don't really know what to expect. Like, she's just very awkward, and I mean, Betch does have power in her hands. Like, she is a very tough fight, and I think the improvements in Aldana's game. Obviously, as soon as I hit the mat, she was able to submit her very quick. So that goes to show that Aldana is definitely taking every area of the MMA game seriously at this point. And when it comes to just all the factors in this fight, what really reaches out to me most is just Aldana's on the way up. She's improving. Raquel Pennington at this point, she's taken a couple beatings. I've seen her slowing down. She's definitely on the decline. Rainey Aldana is definitely the better athlete. When you look at the striking stats, I mean, Rainey Aldana lands about 3 to 4 strikes more per minute than Raquel Pennington, which is crazy considering Raquel Pennington, she's another girl who isn't really the most technical. She's another one of those brawlers who just kind of gets in there and throws down. That's why that fight between Raquel Pennington and Betchkahea was so close, just because it's kind of ugly, if we're being honest. And another thing, if we're being honest, dude, I thought Betchkahea beat Raquel Pennington in that fight. I mean, it was very close, but I thought she did. Raquel, just in my opinion, she's 9-7. She's just, all the props to her in the world. She was on that Ultimate Fighter season. She's one of the first girls really in the UFC, but I think this newer generation in Irene Aldana is going to come out here, and she's really going to box Raquel Pennington up. She's way more technical, way longer, more athletic, lands more per minute. And then when you look at the other areas of the fight, like you can say Raquel Pennington might be able to come out here with like a wrestling game plan, but I mean, there's 2 reasons why I'm not really worried about that. Irene Aldana holds a really nice 95% takedown defense rate, and then even if Raquel does get Aldana down, I mean, what's going to happen, man? I mean, it's not like Raquel Pennington is some world-class BJJ player. I'm going to actually go ahead and say, if it does hit the mat, I think Irene Aldana is going to do exactly what she needs to reverse, get a dominant position of her own, or just get right back up to the feet. So I think really Raquel Pennington's like really only path here, I think she has to stun Irene Aldana. She needs to get on the inside and really use her power and bust her up, get her rocked, because we have seen Aldana rock before. I will say one of the advantages for Rocky Pennington in this fight is she might be a little bit tougher. So I think Pennington, she just needs to make this fight a brawl, man. But I really just don't see it happening. I think Aldana, she's going to use the proper footwork, and she's going to pick this girl apart bad. I absolutely cannot believe that money has been coming in on Pennington. Like, I took Aldana minus 105. It was actually plus 100 at one point. Then she got all the way up to minus 160, minus 170, and now money's coming in on Raquel Pennington. Man, I truly believe Irene Aldana should be around a minus 200 in this spot. She might be one of my most confident picks of this card. So, yeah, 3 units, minus 105. So what do you got to say, man?
Yeah, I agree, man, with everything you said. Actually, if Rocky makes this fight a brawl, I actually favors Aldana. That brawl with Lucy, that was a really good fight. I bet on Lucy there, and I do think Aldana got the win. Aldana's jab, man, is really good. Her right hand, her striking so good. Man, some people on here, might not like me after I say this. Some people might, unsubscribe. But in my opinion, dude, I think Rocky's a quitter, man. I think Rocky is a very tough girl, but she quit against Amanda Nunes in that 5th round, doesn't want to fight anymore. Yes, it's against the best, women's fighter of all time, but she quit, man. We saw it happen. She quit. And I don't think she has the motivation anymore, man. The whole thing with Tisha, too, like, are they even together? Like, who even knows? Like, I don't know, man. Just she's on a 2-fight losing streak. She has not been looking good at all. She's on a decline for 100% sure, and she's not even a wrestler, dude. Like, I feel like people think she's gonna go out there and take Aldana down, but Aldana has great takedown defense. Another thing too is a lot of people are buying into, well, Aldana lost to Tanya Evinger, Aldana lost to Leslie Smith. That's in the past. It's a long time ago. She's not even the same fighter she was. She's a way different fighter. People always do that with everyone. Like, oh, Devontae Smith lost to Gunther, bro. He sucks. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, look at Devontae Smith now. He's one of the best prospects at 155. He's going to be a top 5 guy in the future. Like, people just, I don't know why people just do that. Like, yeah, like, she lost Tanya Evinger, who sucks now, obviously. But, at that point, Tanya Evinger was in her prime. And that was when Aldana was, like a long time ago. I mean, now Aldana is, a really good fighter. Definitely a problem, I think, at 135. Her striking is just so good, dude. She's so technical. I think she picks apart Rocky bad on the feet. I don't think Rocky's, that good on the feet. I mean, she has power. I mean, she's aggressive. She's going to be pressuring her. But I actually think that kind of favors Aldana, man. Aldana does good backing up. Aldana's going to be pressuring her too. Aldana's just way more technical, man. And like you mentioned, if Rocky tries to brawl with her, I think it's going to even favor Aldana even more, man, because Aldana can win a dogfight, dude. Aldana has great cardio. Aldana doesn't give up, dude. Aldana doesn't quit. So I know that, she fought, Amanda Nunes, but she's so quit, man, in my eyes, man. She's even, talked to art, kind of like, I don't know, man, which just something about Rocky. Like, I don't even know if she wants to fight anymore, man. Like, she looks motivated, but I just don't see that killer, instinct anymore, man. So I'm going to go with Aldana, man. I think she's going to get a big win here, and I think she's going to finish her, man. I think she's going to put Rocky out in the third round. I wish I would have got a better line. I'm sorry. I didn't better, but I wish I would have got the line you did, because I probably would have better. But it is what it is. I got Aldana winning a pretty good, pretty dominant fight. I think she finishes her weight. So next fight. This is probably the number one fight I don't even want to talk about, just with the Roxy fight. This fight, I mean, this is the ultimate jobber fight. We got Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy against Steven Peterson. Both these guys, don't belong in the UFC. I mean, they're both at the bottom of the division. Peterson doesn't even belong at featherweight. The dude's so small. The dude should definitely be fighting at bantamweight. I mean, Caceres, he's fighting bantamweight too, but he's definitely filled out. He's definitely a big featherweight. This is a pure striker versus grappler matchup. Peterson's, a walking punching bag. He does fight at a good camp, but still, though, bro, I just don't like anything about him, really. I mean, he's tough. Like, you got to give him that, okay? He has a really good chin. He doesn't give up. He's not a quitter at all, like Rocky Pennington. But he just doesn't offer anything on the feet. The fight with Matt Bessette, I thought he could have lost that fight. Like, the guy could be 0-3 in UFC. Caceres, I mean, the guy, his ground game, he has good submissions, but the guy's just. His submission defense is weak, bro. He's been subbed like 100 times. His striking obviously is good. I can see him picking apart Peterson, but can Peterson take him down? Yeah, of course he can. I mean, Leroy does not have any ground game at all or takedown defense, but do I trust Peterson at all? No, I don't. So earlier in the week, I thought Caceres was going to get a finish just because Peterson's chin, like all that damage, is going to catch up. But, Leroy's not really a finisher. So I'm going to go with Leroy. I think he wins a 29-28 decision, but this is the biggest pass on the fight on the card. What about you?
Man, yeah, this is a really tough one to call. I've been going back and forth. A lot of money's coming in on Steven Peterson. He was as high as like plus 140. Now he's down to plus 105. And shit, man, I mean, I guess I understand taking any kind of dog money in this fight just because it's so hard to call. And it's even harder to call. I can't really say what's going to happen in this fight, man, because, we've seen a lot of striking and jiu-jitsu from Caceres. We've seen a lot of striking and wrestling from Steven Peterson. And, Steven Peterson, the thing about him is, he mostly strikes, but the thing is, he is a punching bag. But the thing about Caceres, he's kind of a punching bag too. And if anything, though, like if they kind of get into this fight where they're just beating the shit out of each other, I know he's taken so much damage, but we can see at this point that Steven Peterson can take the damage. I know it was so long ago, but to see Alex Caceres get knocked down by 20 seconds by Cisco Rivera, who's not even in the UFC anymore, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. There's just been so many yikes performances from Caceres, but the thing is, sometimes he actually comes out and fights pretty well. Like, I still stand by the fact that that fight against Siler Rodriguez should have never been a split decision. But hey, Alex Caceres won that fight on one judge's scorecard against top 15 Yair Rodriguez. Like, the thing about him, he's just so inconsistent. So you really just don't know what Alex Caceres you're going to get. Based on interviews I've been watching for this fight week, I just don't see that much motivation, man. I think Steven Peterson wants it more. I think he'll probably be throwing more. And I think even if Caceres gets this down to the mat where he has pretty good jiu-jitsu, I feel like Steven Peterson has all the tools and the experience in the world to kind of neutralize it all. So I'm going to go with Steven Peterson to win a decision here. I think he's just going to do more in this fight, be the tougher guy, and make it his fight. It should be a good one, though. Like, on paper, obviously, we look at these guys, and neither one of these guys are going to go far in the division at all. But stylistically, in this matchup, I think it should make for a really fun fight. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go with the dog, Steven Peterson, to win a very close 29-28 split decision. So moving on to the one, man, we got a couple of heavyweights here. Larry heavyweights, if we're being honest here. We got Ben Rothwell minus 190 taking on Andre Arlovski plus 165. So Ben Rothwell, you know, he was gone for a very long time. He got the good old pop from USADA. He was gone for a while, and then he came back against Blagoy Ivanov, and Blagoy Ivanov got that win. But rewatching that fight, I've probably seen it about 2 or 3 times now. I mean, I give that fight to Ben Rothwell. I thought he won that fight. I thought he looked pretty good for the layoff, and considering that was his first fight back after a long layoff, I can only expect to see him look probably a little bit better here. And the thing with Arlovski, I kind of feel like Arlovski got robbed in his last fight too. I actually bet Arlovski against Sakai. That's another fight I've seen like 2 or 3 times now, and I score for Arlovski every time. I mean, it was really close, really, really sloppy, but I mean, I thought both these guys should have gotten a nod in their last fight. So I think they're both coming in here with a sour taste in their mouth. I think they might both be just a little bit more aggressive than they usually are, and I think that definitely plays into Ben Rothwell because, I mean, do I even have to say it? I mean, we mention it every time Andre Arlovski fights. The guy, he's been knocked out so many times. His chin isn't the best, and Rothwell is definitely a guy who packs a shit ton of power. We've seen Rothwell get rocked himself and then come back to win by knockout. I mean, I'll always love that Brendan Schaub versus Ben Rothwell fight. Schaub lands the nastiest spinning elbow, charges after him, and Rothwell just throws hands of fury at the guy, knocks him dead, makes him reach up at the sky. Like, that's one of my favorite knockouts ever. I'm a huge Rothwell fan, huge Arlovski fan, man. And this should be a great fight. Unfortunately, they are both near the tail end of their career, but I'm going to say Rothwell has a lot more left in the tank. I'm going to say he's more durable. I mean, I guess maybe Arlovski could wrestle here, but I feel like Rothwell should be able to stuff any kind of sloppy attempts. This fight's probably going to stand the feet, and I think the more durable guy will end up finding a knockout at some point. So I'm going to go with Ben Rothwell. I'm going to say he lands a second-round knockout. Who do you got here, man?
Yeah, not much to say about this fight. You know, obviously, you know, Andre Arlovski's complete fade, definitely at the end of his career. Rothwell's good in there too. I mean, Rothwell's on a 2-fight losing streak. I mean, against guys that are better than Arlovski. I thought Rothwell won his last fight. I'm sure a lot of people agree with me, but you know, it's what it is. Rothwell's just, you know, I think definitely way more durable, definitely the better striker. Awkward movement, really tough guy to fight. We know how good his ground game is. This fight hits the mat. I mean, he's probably going to get Andre in that front choke. So I'm going to go with Rothwell. I hope he wins because I want to see that dance, dude. I mean, we haven't seen that dance in a while, dude. So War Rothwell. Next fight, we got a barn burner here. We got, I mean, this is one of the best fights of the card. We got Alex Hernandez versus Francisco Trinaldo. And we're both on the same side here. And I got the dog, man. I'm going to, if I have one more play, it's going to be him. I think Trinaldo is the better fighter. You know, the only concern I have here is that he's old and he's 40 years old. But let me ask you a question. We were talking about this off air. Have you seen him be declining at all? Like, no, I haven't. Like, have you been seeing him declining?
No, man. I see same Trinaldo we've seen a couple of years ago.
I mean, the guy's a great fighter, man. I mean, he has a great record, a good record in the UFC. He's really durable. I mean, he has a really good striking game, really technical, good kicks, good right jab, or not right jab, good jab, good right hand, nasty in the clinch. I mean, he has good takedowns too. We've seen him get taken down. I mean, he's been tapped out a couple of times. Alex Hernandez, you know, I mean, he's a little green, man. I mean, he just, I don't know, man. Just the guy, you know, like, he talks a big game, man. I mean, he went out there and knocked out Benny, which is a good win, but I mean, let's be honest, Benny's, you know, on the decline, terrible chin. Then he goes out there, gets fights OAM. I mean, it was a lot of red flags in that fight. He beat OAM, congrats. But OAM's French, kind of a jobber in my opinion. And Hernandez, you know, showed a lot of red flags in that fight. Then got absolutely obliterated versus Cerrone. I think he's small for 155. I think he's in great shape, but he's a little too small in my opinion. Trinaldo's the bigger guy. Trinaldo's more technical on the feet. I mean, if Hernandez wants to go out there and try to brawl with Trinaldo, I mean, he's going to get smoked, in my opinion. I think Hernandez has to go out there and honestly immediately try to get him down, man. I mean, I think he has the better wrestling for sure, but I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to hold him down. I think both these guys, their gas tanks are a question mark for sure. They both gas, but I think, honestly, I know, we've only seen him, hurt in one fight against Cerrone. OAM, actually, OAM hurt him a little bit. He put him in some bad spots, but I got to go with the guy, man, that has more experience, man. I think Trinaldo's more durable. I think that he's a better striker. I think he's more technical on the feet. I mean, he had just the experience alone. Obviously, like I mentioned, they both have gas tank problems, but I even think Trinaldo has the better cardio, man. I mean, Hernandez puts a really good pace on you in that first round. That's the number one round we got to worry about, that first round. But after that first round, man, I mean, I think he's going to get tired of trying to go try to take down Trinaldo, and I think Trinaldo's the more complete fighter, man. Trinaldo's no joke at all. He's 40 years old, but I mean, yeah, he hasn't been beating the best guys. I mean, he beat a guy that retired and done him. I mean, he looked really good against Jim Miller. He lost a close decision against James Vick, and that was when James Vick was in his prime, in my opinion. He even took James Vick down like 3 times. I mean, look at the Felder fight. Like, dude, that was domination, man. I mean, he not put out, but he finished him, man. Doctor stoppage. I mean, you see Felder's face in that fight, dude. That was bad, dude. I mean, he's so good, man. Trinaldo, man, he's a great fighter. Just honestly, the only concern I have in this fight is he's old, man. He's 40 years old. Like, when are we going to see him? Hit that decline? I mean, it could be here, but I mean, I just think the experience alone. He has way more experience than Hernandez. I think Hernandez is just a little green right now, man, and he might even be a fraud, dude. I mean, he's athletic, man, for sure. He's jacked. And he has great movement, but I don't know, man. I see Trinaldo, dude, just beating him here, man. I really do. I think Trinaldo's gonna be too much for him. I forgot to mention Trinaldo's best asset, which is that left hand he has. So I got Trinaldo, man, kind of, big brothering him, and I got him putting him out. I got him with a 3rd round TKO. I think it's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a scrap, man. And I got Trinaldo beating him, and it's gonna send Alex Hernandez to 145, in my opinion. Who do you got?
Yeah, man, this is a great fight. So Alex Hernandez sitting minus 190 and Trinaldo plus 165. Trinaldo was plus 175 earlier today. Man, I completely disagree with that. I agree with a lot of what you said. Obviously, when it comes to a 40-year-old fighter, I mean, the question is, when is this guy going to fall off a cliff? Because we've seen it so many times before. These older fighters, they'll just all of a sudden they just won't look quite as good. But I mean, when you look at this guy, he is for sure on those same anti-aging vitamins that Yoel Romero is. This guy is just like, I mean, he looks like a 30-year-old in there, man. Like, he's still very, very athletic. Like, he hasn't slowed down at all. Like, his chin isn't shot. I mean, all the skills are still there. All the durability is still there. Like, I'm not really sure what a lot of people are talking about. And when it comes to the hype on Alex Hernandez, it's like, yeah, if you come into the UFC as a plus 300-something favorite against a top 15 guy and you go out there and knock him out in under a minute, like, obviously there's going to be a shit ton of hype, I guess. So, I mean, I get it, but when you really truly think about it and look into it, I mean, Beneil Dariush is, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that was Beneil coming off the Edson Barboza fight, which, I mean, shit, dude, that Edson Barboza flying knee, that pretty much, I mean, I don't want to say it put the nail in the coffin of Benny's chin, but he's definitely seen better days before that fight. I mean, it definitely took a decline afterwards. But so yeah, I think that win over Dariush is just being just a little overlooked, and then you go up in his next fight against Olivier Aubin Mercier, who I don't really think too highly of, and even then, man, like, that was an ugly fight. That was a sloppy fight. Like, Hernandez talked a lot of shit for that fight, man. He said all day first round knockout, and yeah, I mean, he clearly won the fight, which is all good and everything. OAM actually had some decent wins himself, but obviously this is a huge step up. Donald Cerrone was a huge step up. I still can't believe Alex Hernandez was the favorite in that fight. Donald Cerrone definitely taught that guy a lesson, and who knows, maybe he learned his lesson. Maybe he's taken things just a little more seriously. That's not to say he didn't take it seriously before, but maybe he just took those proper steps. He's a young guy. You can expect to see improvements from Alex Hernandez every single time, but I mean, is he ready for this caliber of fighter? Because I mean, I'm going to go on a limb and say Francisco Trinaldo is really not that far of a step down from Donald Cerrone. I mean, I don't think he's in the rankings right now, probably just because he hasn't fought in a year, but I know for sure Francisco Trinaldo was once a ranked top 15 guy. I mean, we're talking about that kind of caliber of fighter. Stylistically, game plan wise, I think it's Trinaldo's best option here that first round is going to be really tough. We know Alex Hernandez, he comes out like a storm. I think Trinaldo, at range, he needs to kick those legs, take the power from him. When Hernandez is able to get in on the inside, Trinaldo needs to tie him up, uses he's really good in the clinch. Knee the hell out of that gut, man. Do whatever you can do to get Alex Hernandez tired. And, I'm not going to act like Francisco Trinaldo is the best cardio in the world either, but I just feel like the things he's going to be able to do in the fight, I just feel like in that first round, Trinaldo is going to be chipping away, doing good work, while Hernandez kind of headhunts and doesn't really get much done. So when it gets into that second round, I feel like the way more experienced fighter is going to make those mid-fight adjustments. He has a guy in front of him that's starting to slow down because of the work he put in that first round. So I definitely see Trinaldo taking over in rounds 2 and 3, winning a 29-28 decision, or even getting a late KO. So I'm actually going to agree with you, man. I'm going to say Trinaldo comes out here and gets a third round TKO. I just feel like skill-wise, he's better everywhere, man. I mean, there's only really a couple advantages that Alex Hernandez has in this fight, and I feel like those advantages can be neutralized if Trinaldo, if he's still there, if he hasn't fallen off a cliff, if he follows the right game plan. I feel like Trinaldo should actually be slightly favored in this fight, man. So I'm waiting on the line. I feel like Hernandez has so much hype. I feel like money's going to be flowing in on him. So I have no problem at all being patient to get the best line possible on Francisco Trinaldo, and he's going to be my pick. I'm going to say he gets the win via third round TKO. So moving on.
Sorry, real quick. I mean, the guy's won 9 out of his last 11. I just don't get it. I don't get the hype on Hernandez, man. I really don't. I think he's kind of a fraud. I mean, I know he lost to Cerrone and all that, but he didn't look that good against OM, in my opinion. He beat a guy, in his debut against Benny, who's on the decline, dude. I mean, Benny the guy's pretty much done, in my opinion. So Hernandez is just all this hype. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone says he's striking. He's so good and all this. He's not even the better striker here. He's not more technical than Trinaldo. So I don't get it, man. Trinaldo's been looking good. He's 40 years old, but has he hit the decline? No. And if anyone says he has, then you better come up with a good argument, because you're going to get embarrassed if you want to have a debate with one of us. So I got Alex Hernandez getting finished, man, and I don't see it, man. I don't. The guy is just, I mean, there's a lot of guys I can think of right now outside the top 15 that would beat him. Devontae Smith would absolutely kill him, bro, in a minute. But
yeah, man, I'm kind of surprised with all that hype that Hernandez has. Obviously people do like him. Why would the UFC give him this fight? Why not slow roll him back up? Obviously, Cerrone was too soon. I don't know. I guess the thought process is this is a big step down from Cerrone, but I don't feel like it's that big of a step down at all, man. Trinaldo, I mean, look at his UFC record. He's a fucking fantastic fighter, man. So don't get the line at all, man. So I'm probably going to be betting him.
I mean, you don't agree with me on this, but I thought Trinaldo was going to beat Diego Ferreira. But I mean, Diego Ferreira would beat Alex Hernandez too. So
you're right. I don't agree.
Yeah, but Diego would beat Hernandez though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously,
100%. But I mean, I know we don't agree on that, but yeah, I think I'm going to bet Trinaldo. I'm going to do it. I don't get it, man. I think it's a great matchup for him, and I haven't seen the decline for him, and I don't think Hernandez is what everyone thinks he is. Everyone thinks he's some future champ. I've seen people literally on Twitter after the Cerrone fight say that he's a future champ. The dude is not even that good of a fighter, man. He's a fraud. So he need to get exposed again. He's overlooking Trinaldo too, just like he's overlooking Cerrone. You go watch his interviews. That guy is a cocky bastard, man. The dude thinks he's some GOAT and all this stuff. Come on, dude. You're gonna get exposed this weekend, and then you're gonna fight, probably a guy at featherweight, and you're gonna lose that fight. This dude, I don't like it, man. I don't agree with the hype. This dude's a fraud, and I'll say that right now, fraud. So the people in the chat that's saying that, there's a couple people in the chat right now that said something I'm the biggest idiot in the world if Trinaldo wins and all this. I'll say that. I mean, you don't have to say it, man. I mean, you're going to be the biggest idiot in the world after Trinaldo exposes him. So next fight, who is it?
Man, we got a fight I did bet.
Man.
We got Dan Hooker -140. He's taking on James, the Texecutioner Vick. He is plus 120. I took the dog here, man. I have a huge history of betting James Vick, and obviously, I mean, I don't want to bet the guy just because I have a lot in the past. But I mean, when I look at this fight, I mean, I ended up taking the plus 155, 3 units at that to win about a 4.65, something like that. And man, I really like this fight for James Vick. So obviously, looking at both guys, I'll start with the X factors in this fight. I mean, the biggest thing for me that jumps out of this fight when I see Dan Hooker in a fight, I mean, he just got his life changed by Edson Barboza. Me and you, we were both on Dan Hooker in that fight. Obviously, that was a little bit of a big mistake. Like, we had the right idea and everything. Edson Barboza is a little chinny and whatnot, and he's on the decline for sure. And we got a fighter in Dan Hooker who, you know, he just moved up to 155. Things are looking a lot better. He's not cutting as much weight, but I mean, I think we kind of overrated Dan Hooker just a little bit. He just didn't have the tools to beat Barboza. Like, Dan Hooker, I mean, his best tools, in my opinion, is like that Muay Thai, like the knees he can land, like those knees he landed on Jim Miller and Ross Pearson. I mean, holy shit, some of my favorite knockouts I've ever seen. But the problem here is, man, like, I don't know how much of a problem his Muay Thai skills are going to be here against a 6'3" lightweight. Like, this just screams terrible matchup for me for Dan Hooker, and I just am still so mind blown to see him the favorite. Like, I just don't get how he wins this fight, man. I mean, he's not going to freaking knee 6'3" James Vick to the head and knock him out. When it comes to his hands, like, he's got decent hands, but like, he doesn't wing bombs like Gaethje. He doesn't wing bombs like Dariush. He doesn't have nearly as much power as those guys. He's not nearly as skilled as Paul Felder, in my opinion, who beat James Vick. And, you know, I named off those 3 guys who beat James Vick. Everyone else James Vick has fought in, I want to say, his like 14 or 13 fight UFC career. He's beaten. James Vick has an absolutely incredible UFC record. We just talked about Francisco Trinaldo. That's arguably one of his best wins right there. I mean, just picked apart Trinaldo from start to finish. It was a great performance. Like, oh man, and another thing, I mean, this is the first time Dan Hooker has fought someone who's actually taller than him. I mean, he's not used to fighting these taller guys, and not only is James Vick taller than him, he's taller than him by a shit ton. And obviously, when you get a 6'3" guy at lightweight, the biggest thing is tall man's defense, especially when that 6'3" guy is a boxer, which James Vick is. I mean, these tall boxers are gonna get hit a lot, and you know, a lot of people say James Vick has zero chin. Like, dude, okay, he got knocked out by Beneil Dariush in his prime, got knocked out by Justin Gaethje in his prime. I mean, we're talking about 2 prime fighters. I'm not saying Beneil's in his prime right now, but at that time he was, like, and you're gonna sit here and say James Vick has no chin. I mean, it's just more of a thing like tall men get hit a lot, and he happened to get hit by 2 guys who pack a lot of power, and he got knocked out. Like, Dan Hooker, I mean, I'd be insanely surprised if he came out here and knocked out James Vick with an overhand. Like, I just don't see that happening. And I mean, I see this fight staying on the feet all 3 rounds. I don't see either guy shooting. Maybe Vick will shoot. I've seen Vick take down some. He took down Abel Trujillo. It's funny I bring up Abel Trujillo. He's going through some crazy shit right now. I probably shouldn't even give that guy the time of day, but Abel Trujillo, he wrestled in college, I want to say, like NCAI, something like that. Like, he's a decent wrestler. And James Vick, he showed that he has skills in all areas of the sport. He took down that guy. I'm not going to be that surprised if James Vick is able to come out here and take down Dan Hooker as well. Like, I'd be a lot more surprised if Hooker took down Vick, but I probably do see it staying on the feet for the majority of the fight. And I see Vick just picking him apart really badly at range all night long. Hooker has never seen anything like this before. I know Vick is very, very hungry to get back in the win column. Obviously, what I mentioned in the beginning, Hooker's coming off a life-changing beating. Who the hell knows how that guy's going to look in his return? I mean, how many times have we seen in the sport guys take life-changing beatings and they never come back the same? I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but that absolutely could be the case. So I like James Vick here, man. Like when I tried to wanted to see if I wanted to bet James Vick in this fight, the main thing I was looking for is, all right, how can Dan Hooker do this? I mean, the answer is I don't really see how he does do it. I mean, it's hard, man. It's a tough matchup for him. Maybe you can tell me Dan Hooker's best path to victory, because I don't really see one. So I got Vick here, 3 units as a dog.
Well, I won't be doing that because I do got James Vick. I mean, we have a big history on James Vick. We like the guy. I think he's a good fighter. His chin is definitely a question mark. That's the only reason why I'm not betting him here. I mean, I'm picking him to win. Just I feel like the weight cut, man, the 155 is so tough for him. I want him to go to 170, man. I mean, I think he's a good fighter, man. I mean, great striking, man. I mean, he was beating Paul Felder, in my opinion, but I mean, Felder just, dude, those weight kicks really hurt him bad, man. And I mean, Vick's chin held up last fight too. I mean, yeah, he got knocked out against Gaethje. Gaethje's a top 5 guy. Gaethje's, arguably could be a future champ, dude. Gaethje's a very bad man. I mean, James Vick, he's a good fighter, just the chin. He has tall man defense, his durability. I know, like I mentioned, it could be the weight cut, but about the matchup, I mean, what about Hooker's chin? Both these guys, I feel like their chin's a question mark. Hooker just took a life-changing beating. Definitely could have been, like we like to say, I definitely think it was, man. I mean, Barbosa beat his ass bad. He took a lot of damage. And, I mean, Hooker's a good striker. I mean, but talk about the matchup. James Vick, he's more technical. He has better boxing. I mean, Hooker has good knees. Hooker's, going to be, pushing the pace for sure. But, I mean, I think Vick's more well-rounded. I think this fight hits the mat. Vick has the better ground game. Vick has really good chokes. I mean, if Hooker tries to shoot on this kid, on James Vick, he's going to get tapped out. So, like I said, I don't think this fight hits the mat. If it does, you got to favor Vick. But even though both their chins are a question mark, if I had to choose one of them who has a better chin, it's Vick, in my opinion, man. I mean, I don't trust Dan Hooker, man. I mean, after that light-changing beating just took, I think Vick's more durable. I think Vick pieces him up on the feet. A lot of people think Vick's some joke. Vick's not a joke, dude. He's a good fighter. He's definitely, I'm not going to say declining. I'm not going to say declining at all. I'm just going to say that he should go to 170 after he gets his win. But, yeah, Vick's still a good fighter, man. I mean, I bet him versus Alex Hernandez any day if they fought. Any day. So, I got James Vick. I got him finishing Dan Hooker, man. I think he's going to get him in a Darce. So, I got James Vick with a 3rd-round Darce. Next fight. This is my first play of the night. This is my only play so far, but I'm probably going to be betting Trinaldo. I mean, whoa. I mean, this is a big fight for me, man. I mean, I changed my unit size, so I'm $100 units now, and damn, dude, this is one of my biggest bets, man, I've ever had. We got Greg Hardy versus Juan Adams. I'm really confident in Greg Hardy here. It's funny, man, because I've been talking to a lot of my friends and stuff, and this is the first time in my life that I can say that I'm rooting for a wife beater, man. I mean, I can't believe that I'm doing it because I don't, obviously I'm not, I'm not for what he did at all. I mean, Greg Hardy, I mean, he's a dirtbag for doing that, but I mean, everyone deserves a second chance. I think fighting is definitely the sport for him, and I'm going to be rooting for a wife beater, man. This is the first time I'm ever going to be doing that in my entire life. But I mean, I want Hardy, man, to get that win, man, for me. But anyways, enough with that. Yeah, about the matchup, dude. Greg Hardy, dude. I mean, I feel like he's one of the most athletic guys in the division. This dude is just so fast, dude, and so strong, man. I mean, Juan Adams, man, the guy, it's funny because people act like he's a really good wrestler and all this. He has credentials and stuff, but the guy's going out there getting taken down by Arjun Bueller. The guy's sloppy. The guy's striking's not that good. He's slow. He has a decent jab, but I mean, his diet's terrible. I mean, you talk about the matchup at hand. I just don't see how Juan Adams wins this fight besides the wrestling, but I mean, how is he going to get him down? I mean, Crowder, had a very, very tough time getting him down, and people act like Crowder was winning that fight. Crowder was getting his ass handed to him, dude, and then that DQ happened. Obviously, Hardy's been getting a lot of softballs. I will say that Juan Adams is the best fighter he's ever going to fight, but I'm going to say the same thing about Adams. I mean, this is definitely a big step up. Hardy's way better than Bueller. This is the best fight of both their careers, in my opinion. And on the feet, it's a total mismatch. I mean, Hardy's more fast. He's definitely at speed advantage. I mean, he's definitely the more athletic guy. He's way more explosive, has a very good right hand, very good at boxing. I think Greg Hardy blows him out of the water, man. I think Greg Hardy's going to put him out in a minute, 2 minutes. He's too aggressive, too much good pressure. He's a durable fighter. Adams gets hit way too much. He had that very sloppy fight with Chris De La Rocha. That should not happen. That's the worst heavyweight, bro. Like one of the worst heavyweights of all time. That guy, like, that dude is so bad. And he was literally like, that was a 1-1 going in the third. Like, come on, dude. Like, what would Hardy do to that guy? Hardy would send that guy in the, like, literally, like, in a coma, bro. So I just think the speed difference here, the athleticism is way too much. And I know, like, obviously, a lot of people are saying that Greg Hardy's a piece of shit and all this. And yeah, what he did, bro, was wrong. Okay. But the fact that he's in the UFC now, and like, I just think he has a really, really big potential. I think he's a problem, man, in this division. I really do. I think this guy's going to go far. I think he's just so much faster than a lot of these guys. Obviously, you got to build him up. Don't give him Francis Ngannou, obviously, like right now. Come on. Like, give him, like Andre Arlovski after this fight. Give him some, JDS maybe in a couple years. Just build him up. But Juan Adams, man, he's a fraud, dude. He's not that good. He's green. You can say Hardy's green, but, I mean, the matchup at hand, like, Adams better be shooting for his life, because if he doesn't get him to the mat, even if he does, I see Hardy getting right back up. I wouldn't even be surprised if Hardy got him down at all. I don't think Hardy's going to shoot, but Juan Adams' takedown defense isn't good. On the feet, it's a mismatch. Hardy's going to blow him out of the water on the feet. Hardy's going to hurt him so bad right out of the gate and put him out. I got Hardy with a first-round KO. I say under 2 minutes, and we're going to see Hardy. I mean, he's going to be a problem in this division. Juan Adams, you're a fraud, bro. Fraud. What do you got?
Man, this is an awesome fight. I can't wait to see how this shit goes down. Man, I mean, you get what you asked for. I believe Juan Adams was the one to call this fight out, and be careful what you wish for, brother, because Greg Hardy dude, that guy is a great athlete. I mean, obviously, if you're in the NFL, I believe he was even like an NFL All-Star. Like, if you're at that caliber, I mean, you're a fucking phenomenal athlete, man. And we've seen that in the cage now at this point. Like, the athleticism is there. It's just all about refining that technique, man. Turn him into a technical fighter, gather that experience. And at this point, man, I mean, yeah, he's definitely getting a lot of experience inside and outside of the cage. He's at 5 fights now. He's getting all the looks in over at American Top Team. He's doing workout at the UFC PI. Like, all the right things are going towards Greg Hardy in this fight. He's making all the right decisions. Like, the career trajectory is definitely looking very up for this guy. And then on the side of Juan Adams, I mean, we see a guy who, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a joke. Maybe a clown is a little bit better word for this guy. Just the way he carries himself, talks about himself, the way he posts pictures of tons of junk food. And I mean, this guy is just, I mean, maybe he is a little bit of a joke, but hey, I mean, he has won some fights in the UFC. Granted, or one fight against De La Rocha, but yikes, that was an ugly ass fight. And you're definitely right. You broke it down technically pretty well. On the feet, Juan Adams he's in big trouble here, man. And that's not to say he doesn't have power himself. I just feel like Greg Hardy will probably he'll be doing a lot better of a job avoiding Juan's power than Juan will be avoiding Greg Hardy's power, because Greg Hardy is a lot faster. And I mean, hey, I mean, even when you look at the experience, it's not like Juan Adams is a lot more experienced than Greg Hardy. I know he has like wrestling experience back in the day, but when it comes to MMA, I mean, what do we got? 4-1 versus 5-1, something like that. Like, I mean, these guys are relatively in the same exact spot of their MMA career. So I feel on the feet, Juan Adams is fucked. He really needs to shoot here. He's only shot once in his UFC career. It was against Chris De La Rocha, and he landed it. So it's funny, you look, see Juan Adams, he has a 100% takedown rate, but when you go and watch his fights, I mean, I just don't see him. Yeah, you can set up a takedown and take down a slow-ass guy against De La Rocha, but to land a takedown against Greg Hardy, I mean, he's got to set that shit up. He's got to time it perfectly, and I just don't see that happening. I feel like I see Greg Hardy landing a bomb on his face before that ends up happening, so I'm going to go with Greg Hardy. I'm going to say he wins in a first-round knockout. And when it comes to DraftKings, this is, in my opinion, one of the main 2 fights you need to target. Usually I have 3 fights I like to target very specifically every week. Usually the main event I would rank 1, and then 2 others would be 2 and 3. I actually got the main event ranked 3rd for me for DraftKings this week. I think there's 2 fights you need to focus on a little bit more. This one being one of them, man, because you got to fight at Pick'em. 8,100, that exact mid-range. It's going to be really helpful to take one of these guys in your lineups. Fight doesn't go to decision is set at -500. So, I mean, I feel like you have to take a spot here because, you're getting such a good price. The fight is not going to go to decision. And I really like Greg Hardy in this fight, man. So I will be very heavy on Greg Hardy on DraftKings this week. I'm going to pass from a betting perspective just because it is kind of lower level heavyweights. That's not to say Greg Hardy can't rise to the top of the division because he can. But at this point of his career, let's be honest, he's not up there just yet. So I'm going to be passing. I do wish you the best of luck and think he will definitely cash. But I like him more as a DK play. So I got Greg Hardy, round 1 knockout. And now coming up to the fight I have pinned as the number 1 fight you have to target on DraftKings this week. Doesn't go to decision. Is set at -675. You got Walt Harris, -165, taking on Alexei, Olynyk, +145. Man, this is a really good fight, man. Like, when it first got announced, my gut pick was definitely Harris. And then like I fight week hits and I start looking at the card again. I'm like, old man Olenik might be able to pull one out. That dude is one crafty motherfucker, and we've seen Walt Harris drop the ball before. But I mean, when I really look into it, man, like Alexei Olynyk's taken a shit ton of damage, especially recently. I want to say his last fight was the Alistair Overeem fight, and that was really, really brutal. And the guy, he's obviously in his 40s. He's got like 60-something fights. Like, if he hasn't fallen off a cliff yet, I mean, what makes me think he's going to at this point? So I don't know if we're going to see any worse of a version than Alexei Olynyk. We should probably still see the same version we see every time. And that's a very slow but very tough, crafty vet, man. And I think Walt Harris, he definitely has to be careful. But you know what? I think the line could actually be a little bit wider here, man, because I just feel like he's just going back to the last fight, we got one guy who is a way better athlete, way faster, and Walt Harris. Man, I feel like if he just on the feet, obviously, he could brawl and probably still knock this guy out, but keep it safe, stay away, keep range, because you definitely don't want this guy to take you down. Like, Olynyk on the mat is, he's one of the best BJJ players in the entire division, the heavyweight division, man. This guy is, he can choke you out from all kinds of positions. He can do a lot to you down there. So that is definitely a hot lava area for Walt Harris. He wants to keep this fight standing, so he's going to want to keep it at range. Maybe when Alexei tires himself out a little bit, then you get a little more aggressive. So I actually think the first round of this fight might be really slow paced, but I feel like as Olynyk tries a little bit more, gets a little more risky, a little more aggressive, I feel like Walt Harris is going to be able to counter him and put him down with that really big power he has. So I'm going to say Walt Harris comes out here and lands a very early second round knockout, but man, I do not want to fade Olynyk, even though I feel like there might be value in Walt Harris at this line. How can you fade Olynyk, a guy against a guy who's dropped the ball in the past? Like, it's a big pass from a betting perspective, but obviously DK, you got to go for it all day. I'm on both sides for DK, so let's go. I'm just hoping for a finish in this fight. It should be fun.
Yeah, this is a very interesting matchup. A lot of people are definitely talking about the Verdum fight because obviously, Walt Harris, got tapped out against him pretty easily. But I think it's a completely different matchup. I don't think Verdum is the same kind of fighter Olynyk is. Olynyk is definitely, at the end of his career, he just took a beating against Overeem. He has a great ground game. He has a great Ezekiel choke, but I think it's going to be tough, man, getting Walt Harris down. Walt Harris looks locked and loaded. I could definitely, questioned him in the past. I thought he just wasn't going to live up to hype and all that. But, to be honest, he's really athletic for the division, like you just mentioned. He's so fast. His striking's look good. I know he's beaten some cans recently, but I got to go with the fresher guy. I really do think that he's going to hurt Olynyk, man, immediately out of the gate. And Olynyk's not going to be able to get that choke, get him to the mat. So I got Walt Harris. I got him with a first-round KO, man. And I think Walt Harris, he's definitely been improving a lot lately, man. Trains with Eric Anders, I think, is his main training partner. I like Walt Harris. I think he's going to get a big win here, man, and potentially get a big fight next. So main event of the evening, what a good fight. We got Edwards versus RDA. It's a close fight. It really is. Look at the line, Leon Edwards is the bigger guy for sure. He has the size advantage. He's has great boxing, man. He's very technical, good kicks, great cardio. I mean, huge for the division. Good grappling. I mean, there's not really a lot of holes in this guy's game. He's durable. We've seen him, get hurt before, and we've seen him come back. He hasn't really finished anyone recently. I mean, that Sabata finish was really nice, but since then, I mean, won a decision versus Cerrone, won a fight versus Gunnar, which he was looking really good in. And then, Gunnar kind of got him on the mat in the third round, but still, Edwards still coasted that fight. RDA, it's one of those fights where, RDA is still a good fighter, in my opinion. Like, he is. He just went out there and beat Kevin Lee. I bet Kevin Lee there. I actually think Kevin Lee was winning that fight, man, for sure. Well, it wasn't even those first 2 rounds, but then you could see RDA in that third round. He was winning that round. He won the third round. Kevin Lee was gassing out, and RDA broke him, man, and tapped him out. Congrats to RDA. He has a great chin. I mean, he has good volume, good striking, good grappling. It's a close fight, but, I'm going to go with Edwards here, man. I think Edwards, like I mentioned, is the bigger guy. I think Edwards can kind of piece him up on the feet. He fights really long. I think RDA is, going to have to get inside. He's going to get picked apart. I think RDA is going to have a tough time getting into the mat, and I think Edwards actually can get him down too. So it's going to be a back-and-forth fight, but, I mean, I think Edwards can definitely get a finish here, man, or win a decision. I mean, Edwards is a good fighter. He's on a really good winning streak right now. I don't personally like him that much. He's really cocky. I don't think he deserves the title shot if he wins this fight. But, I mean, RDA is just – he's going to have to get inside, man. And I can see him getting picked apart, man. I really do. I think Edwards is the better fighter right now. I think RDA is on the decline a little bit for sure. And I got Edwards, man. I think Edwards is going to piece him up, like I mentioned, on the feet. I mean, great right hand, good jab. And like I mentioned, he could take him down too. I think Edwards has the grappling advantage, man, too. So I'm going to go with Leon Edwards. I'm going to go with the 5th round TKO. I think he's going to get on top and pound him out. What about you?
Man, this is an amazing fight. Just going to come out and say I don't have any bets for this card. I fully plan to just sit back and just enjoy this fight because these guys are 2 extremely elite, top 10, in my opinion, welterweight fighters. I think stylistically it's really, really interesting with Leon Edwards. Obviously, I mean, Leon Edwards is just so – I mean, both these guys are so well-rounded, man, but it's crazy to see a guy like Leon Edwards who's from the part of the world that he is that's so good at wrestling. I mean, this guy – I mean, there's not a lot of English fighters out there who have that great of wrestling, and I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to say that Leon Edwards can come out and not exactly do what Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman did, but I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if he comes out here and lands takedowns and even wins a round or 2 based on those takedowns themselves. Won't shock me at all. He's a very good, strong wrestler. Now, the thing is, on the feet, like, I would even go as far to say that Leon Edwards might even have the better hands, but I do think Rafael Dos Anjos has more tools. He's got those good kicks. I feel like he might be able to chop the legs of Leon Edwards. It's just going to be a big problem because Leon Edwards he's the bigger guy. He's the true welterweight. Obviously, RDA's fought most of his career at lightweight, and that's not to say he's not a good welterweight fighter or anything like that. He's made it pretty far in that division, but I don't know. This is just such a tough one, man. Like, talking about this fight, I feel like I have more arguments for Leon Edwards, but I don't know. I really think I should pick RDA in this fight, man. And I am going to pick RDA in this fight, and I do have reasons why I think he could win. I think he can land takedowns of his own. I think, like I said, he can chop those legs. I think, mix up the kicks. Like, chop his legs, make him worried about the leg kicks, and then kick him straight in the head. I just feel like RDA obviously has a lot more experience, too, and that's not to say Leon Edwards isn't experienced, but RDA is just that guy that's been around forever, former champion. This guy was a champion for a reason. He's got really high fight IQ. He's really good at adjusting to the fight. He's got more 5-round experience. Leon went 5 rounds against Donald Cerrone, and let me talk about that Donald Cerrone fight for a sec, because I feel like a lot of people give Leon Edwards flack for that fight just because of the way it ended. Like, a lot of people feel like he could have finished Cerrone, won more dominantly. He dropped rounds against Cerrone. But here's the thing, guys. Like, that's his first major fight, first 25-minute fight. And, he came out strong. He definitely won the first few rounds. And, he took his foot off the trigger a little bit. He coasted a little bit. But can you really fucking blame the guy for playing it safe? It's his first really big fight, 25-minute fight against a legend in Donald Cerrone. Dude, if he wants to play it safe to get the win, like, holy shit, like, no big deal at all, bro. Like, no big deal. Like, I don't take anything away from Leon Edwards. Like, when I look at that shit, I see Leon Edwards won a 25-minute fight against a legend in Donald Cerrone. So I think that's an excellent win. I can't believe anybody would ever talk shit about that win. It was really good. If anything, man, I feel like it was the Gunnar Nelson fight where you could point out more holes in Leon Edwards' game. Like, I don't think you could really point out any holes from that Donald Cerrone fight more than you could from the Gunny fight. But the thing about the Gunny fight is, like, Gunnar Nelson's one of the most awkward guys in the entire division that you could fight. Like, really, really tough guy to fight. And I was actually impressed by Leon Edwards in that fight. And obviously here it's a lot different. I don't know, man. Like, it's just tough to call. I want to see if RDA can actually get it down to the mat as well, because I feel like he has a pure jiu-jitsu advantage, whereas Leon has a pure wrestling advantage. So I just I don't know. It's a tough one, man. I just want to see how it plays out. I'm kind of stumped on it, to be honest. So I'm not going to say much more. I'm going to go with RDA. I think from a betting perspective, he's a better play at plus money from DraftKings perspective. So you look at Leon Edwards, he went that 5 rounds with Donald Cerrone. In a 5-round fight at an 8,600 salary, he was only able to put up 72 points. Like, not very high at all. So at 8,300 here, I'm not going to be taking much of Leon Edwards at all. It's pretty much all going to be on Rafael Dos Anjos in this fight at 7,900. I feel like even in a loss in 25 minutes, he can put up a 50-point performance, and even in a win, he's he's got more volume, in my opinion. And that's another thing. I feel like maybe he's going to out-volume Leon a lot in these rounds. So I got Rafael Dos Anjos. It's a really close one, though. Can't wait to watch it. I'm going to say he wins a 49-46 decision.
Yeah, man. So let's do a little recap on our plays. Yeah, I have Greg Hardy so far, 3 units at minus 110. I want a plus money. He hasn't hit it yet. He might, but I think minus 110 is still a good line. And then I might bet Trinaldo. What about you?
Oh yeah, I got 3 units on Vick plus 155, 3 units on Aldana minus 105, and 2 units on Gabriel Silva at plus 215. If I do have a fourth and final play, it is going to be Francisco Trinaldo.
I'm excited, man. We got a big DraftKings this week, and we have the MMA 175K Knockout King, the first round. And I'm in there, man. I have 1 entry. I'm excited. Obviously, I need a win. I need to advance to the next round. And, I think 50 G's is like first place. So this is a big week. Next week, I'm really excited for next week. I know you already have a play. I have 3 potential plays right now. 2 of them are dogs. One of them is a big underdog too. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil it right here, but I'm sure some people out there know who I'm going to bet if they know me. But
anyone who knows you in the slightest.
Probably know who I'm going to bet. But and it's a tough matchup for him too. But I do think he can get the win if he makes it out of the first round. But so we'll be back, man, next week, and I hope everyone catches their bets. I hope everyone, unless they're going against us, obviously I don't. And let us know in the comments below, man, who you guys like every fight, and let's get it, man. Later, guys.
Thanks, guys.